Be honest. Do you feel like your English is stuck? Like you understand videos. You can have conversations. People say your English is amazing, but inside you think, why am I not getting better? You're not alone. And it's definitely not because you're lazy. It's your discipline that got you to the B2 level, which is commonly referred to as the B2 plateau or the intermediate plateau. But unfortunately, if watching Netflix could get you to C1, well, you'd already be there. The problem is, input is not what you need most anymore. It's only a piece of the puzzle. The B2 or intermediate plateau is where you feel comfortable, but not confident. You speak, but not naturally. You understand, but you still hesitate. It's like you're stuck 3/4 of the way through crossing a bridge. You're far from where you started, but you're still not at the end yet. And here's something important to know. Most learners stop where you're at right now, not because they can't improve anymore, but because they don't know how. At the beginner level, well, it's so simple. You learn words, you progress. With fast results, you instantly feel like you're improving so quickly. And man, that feels good. But at the B2 level, progress is slow, or at least it feels slow. Just like this graph that shows my subscriber count. It's increasing, but so slowly that we barely notice it. And there's a real reason for this. There have been studies that show that to get from B2 to C1 takes the same amount of time as it took for the learner to get from A1 to B2. Yeah, seriously. So if your progress feels slow, that's because it's slower. It takes a lot more time. But that doesn't mean you're stuck forever. It just means one thing. What got you to B2 is not what's going to get you to C1. At this point, you need to change your strategy a little bit. And in this video, I'll show you 3 habits that will take you to the next level from the experience of someone who's done it. Habit number 1, you have to stop just consuming English content. You have to start producing it. You have to start speaking. I know that if you're at B2, you can watch videos, listen to podcasts, and even read a lot of books. But you'll still stay at the same level if you don't practice speaking. I mean, some people work around English speakers and they still say,
I'm very few.
Why? Well, because understanding is passive, but you need to train your brain and your tongue to speak. That means speaking out loud, even if you're alone, writing every day, reading out loud every day, and hopefully having conversations. Research shows that speaking actually helps show you the mistakes that you're making. And when you fix them, you improve. So if you're not using English daily, you're basically just going to the gym and watching other people lift weights. Habit number 2, stop learning more and start going deeper into what you already know. At B2, your problem isn't necessarily that you don't know enough words. The problem more likely is you don't have full command or full understanding of the words that you do know. For example, you might know the word take, but do you know the way that you can use it in the phrases like to take advantage of, to take responsibility of, or to take something into account? So instead of trying to learn 20 new words a day, try and look at 20 words that you already know and find out other ways that natives use them in sentences to describe or express things that you didn't know you could express with those words. Studies show that depth of vocabulary is much more important than just the number of words that you have memorized in a language. So it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Habit number 3, make English a part of your life. This is the biggest difference between someone with the B2 level and the C1 level. With B2, you can still be passively learning a little bit. But once you're at C1, you must have already integrated the language into your life. B2 learners have learned to talk about general situations or ideas, safe topics, and, the basics, where I'm from, where I want to go, what are my goals. Absolutely, B2 learners can do this. But what separates them from C1 learners is that C1 students can already talk about their political opinions, their emotions on a deeper level, and tell stories, real experiences with detail. If you only use English to practice, your brain treats it like another subject in school. But if you use English to talk about your real life, it becomes part of you. So instead of talking about what you did today, dive deeper and try and talk about what you felt today. What are your goals, or what is stressing you out right now? That's real language. We remember things much easier when they're personally meaningful to us. So if English connects you to your life, you'll improve faster. And that's why journaling is so powerful, and I always tell you to journal. And that's why I created the app LingoDiary, so we could all learn languages through what's really meaningful, our thoughts, experiences, and goals. And if you haven't signed up yet and you want to check that out, in the description you'll find it for free. Now, let me tell you about my story, getting from B2 to C1 in Spanish. It was extremely frustrating because I was in Panama at the time, and I remember I could watch any YouTube video and understand perfectly. But when I would get on the street and start talking to people, some people's accents just didn't register well in my head. And I wouldn't know how to respond because I would freeze up once I didn't understand something. You know how you might be funny in your native language, but in English maybe you sound like a robot? That was me. Everything changed for me when I stopped asking, how can I improve my Spanish? And I started asking, how can I integrate it into every part of my life? I started journaling more, speaking more, and focusing on depth. And slowly, things changed. And another bonus tip that really helped was imitating native speakers. Because if you can learn to speak like them, you will finally understand what they're saying. The truth is, after making that switch, it took about another 6 months to get to C1. But I can tell you it was absolutely worth making that change. And now I don't feel like Spanish is a second language. It feels like it is mine. So if you're stuck at B2 right now, you're not failing. You're just at the hardest stage. And you making it through B2 to C1 is what sets you apart from just about every other language learner in the world. So tell me in the comments, what's the hardest thing for you about being at the B2 level? And if you're serious about making it to C1, then check out LingoDiary for free and start writing about your life, your experiences, and your goals. What makes you human?